Hello, everyone. I'm Adam with Demiplane. Thank you for joining me for this week's Dev Update and Community Q&A session. We are going to, as always, talk about the lineup, latest updates, what we are currently working on, what the team is getting our hands all into, and getting our hands really dirty with all the work that we have going on right now. So much activity. It really is buzzing. I remember being in an office environment with people across the aisles from you, and just how much energy there was. And being perfectly honest, since things have changed so much with the pandemic coming and remote work and virtual work and everything else, it's been really hard to really recapture that kind of buzz, that kind of energy. But we're getting closer and closer to it now. There's just so much activity. It really is a lot of fun to be a part of making something new and something from the ground up like this. And so we're having a lot of fun, but it's also some very hard work. So talk about what we're working on, and then upcoming, what's on deck. And so, again, this is just a signal of what our intent is to be working on next. So that is what we'll cover. And then, as always, you can ask me anything. So this really does include anything. I answer most every question that is posed to me. So feel free to ask those questions right now in chat. We have our magical Demibot that is collecting these. All you got to do is type the word question in chat and then follow that with the actual question, and we will get to those, to as many of those as we can at the end of our stream today. So first, latest updates. We just put in, and I threw kind of an arbitrary number out there because that's what we call it internally. But yesterday we deployed release 53, and this number scheme is not. Again, it's not back to the beginning of Demiplane, but it is back to the beginning of kind of our new technology framework. And so the number 53 there signifies that we've had 53 of these major releases. And when we're really looking at that relatively, that's a lot of code that's being written, a lot of things that are being released. And so again, I know that number doesn't mean a lot out there, but the team is working really hard on what's happening here. And really, for this, that deployment that happened yesterday, at least half of it that was deployed was things that all of you out there won't be able to see yet. So it was prepping infrastructure and prepping architecture for things that are coming in the future here that we're going to be able to talk about, pretty soon. But lots and lots of things that are prepping to hit in the next month or two here. And then we did have some bug fixes. So we've kind of updated search results pages because there were some inconsistencies across the nexuses that we were working through there. We have several styling tweaks that have been in place. So this is after we have all of this out into early access, getting feedback from everyone out in the community and making some of those styling updates. And then also several things that were kind of working on entitlements. So as you can imagine, entitlements, that's a term that we use to just declare whether somebody should have access to something or not. Because as you know, when we work with our partners, we have all of these rules around the licensing and what has to be for sale and what's available freely accessible and all of those things. And so these entitlements are what the system is that tells us who can unlock and who can view what. And so we're getting all of that in place because I have heard several of you are wanting to know more about this content sharing concept, and that is something that you're going to be getting some news about pretty soon here. And again, so we're prepping many of the things to make sure that all of those moving parts work when we get to that point pretty soon. On the Pathfinder Nexus early access side, we did release Dark Archive and the first installment of Bloodlords last week, and that is called Zombie Feast, and they are incredible books, incredible content. Definitely check them out if you are playing Pathfinder 2e. I am a big fan of Dark Archive, both the some of the new mechanics that have been introduced, because I am a sucker for psionics. But love the new mechanics, but also really love the approach and the style of this exploration of the paranormal. So check that out. You can pick that up in early access today, which means that you get access to it in the digital reader. And of course, as always, you get that content in the game compendium on the Pathfinder side. On the character engine, we are actively working this week on class features data, and we are pushing really, really hard towards our internal alpha. And really, for this internal alpha, just where this can kind of signal to you where we are in the process here, this is the concept of allowing people internally. So we play these games. It's a process called dog fooding, if you've ever heard that in software development. But the whole, if you're not familiar with it, the idea is, if I ran a dog food company, how do I know if the dogs really like the food that we're making? And so the idea is, I'm going to eat and try the dog food to see if the dogs really like it. And so in software development, that is where we try out whatever we're making to make sure that it's actually scratching the itch and meeting the need of what people need out there. And so with our internal alpha, even if this is everyone playing the same character or the same class or whatever that is, we're pushing towards a point where we can start using a real live character sheet in order to make that happen. So again, this is a big part of the milestone of the internal development. It allows us to make sure that everything is working end to end properly. So that's kind of where we are. And again, we're not quite there, but that's where we're pushing toward. That's the next big internal milestone that we're pushing towards. And things like entering class features data starting this week is a key input to make sure that all of that happens. So things are moving along. The team is really working hard on that. I can't wait for people to see what we're doing with character management, not only for Pathfinder, but what we're going to follow it up with, and with some of these other great games. Speaking of other great games, Vampire Nexus Early Access. We are working on Chicago by Night, Cults of the Blood Gods. And right now, our target for that is the first part of this month. So that is what we are trying to do. And we'll keep you posted in the next couple of weeks on that one. So that's for latest updates. We are headed toward Gen Con. And when I say we, it is going to be a very small contingent of our team this year, with everything that's going on in the world, but then also with everything that's going on inside Demiplane, with how much we're working on getting together the full launch of our first Nexus with Pathfinder Nexus here. We are going to have myself and our Chief Marketing Officer, Bart Vickers, are going to be on site this week. I'm heading out Thursday to get to that. We are doing some fun things with the Glass Cannon Network this year. They create incredible Pathfinder content, but also they have started really doing some great content for so many different games out there, including free league games. And this year at Gen Con, they have a massive slate of programming that you should check out if you're going to be at the show, or you can check it out online on their Twitch channel if you're not able to be at the show. But we are going to be sponsoring a Vampire the Masquerade actual play. We have some incredible cast members there. I love Todd Stashwick and anything that he does, so I can't wait to see what is going to happen here. And so that is going to be happening on Sunday. And then I'm going to be spilling some beans with Joe from Glass Cannon on Saturday morning, and that's actually going to be the last thing I do before I have to head back home. I've got to get back home for something on Sunday, so I'm going to be heading out Saturday. But the send off for me is going to be this interview there on the floor. So stop by their booth. I think it's booth number 174. I am also going to be out and about at the show from Thursday night through Saturday morning here. So I will be on the show floor. I've got several meetings that I've got to attend. But if you happen to see me, by all means, say hello if you're going to be at the show. Love talking with any and everyone every time that we go to these conventions. And so definitely grab me if you see me and say hello. And because again, we're doing this for all of the fans out there, and I love meeting and talking with fans and players because that is how we make sure that we stay on the pulse of what we need to provide to help people play these games with more convenience and in more accessible ways. So definitely say hello if you see us at Gen Con. I am looking forward to it later this week. All right. Let's talk upcoming. So we have with the character builder and digital sheet, we are of course working on the pilot with Pathfinder 2. And after we get the pilot in a good place where it is in early access and we can start taking in feedback to make the tweaks that we need to make to get it polished to a gem, we're going to also start leveraging that platform for other games, starting with Vampire. On the game content side, nothing's really changed here other than kind of highlighting that we are going to have Bloodlords as the installments hit over these next few months. Those are going to come out on the street date. And then we do have Lost Omens Travel Guide that is coming in, I think that one's September. I might be wrong there, but it's coming soon. And this is going to be a great book. And so we will have it also on the street date. So we're setting our sights on making sure that it is digitized. And then once we get Chicago by Night, this is on the vampire side, once we get Chicago by Night, Cults of the Blood Gods out there, the ones that we are turning our attention to next, so the ones that would be on deck are what you see here, Sabbat, the Black Hand, and Second Inquisition. So looking forward to getting into those as well. And then as I discussed last week, we have some work that we are going to start targeting for creature adjustments in the monsters listing and possibly in some other places, and then some accessibility updates after we have been crawling through a lot of that feedback and working with screen reader technology and kind of crawling our own website and trying to see where we have some gaps and some things that we need to shore up. So those are all, that's the short-term roadmap and things that are on deck. And that's what we're going to be working on next after we finish the things that were on that last screen with the latest updates and what we're working on. All right, I think that is all of that. We're going to move over to questions now. Let's see what we got with questions. All right, got a couple out there. If you have those questions, then you can ask those in chat with the word question. And then, so it'll be question and then ask the question, and it will magically appear for me here. And then we will be able to jump into that. All right. Number one, Anchor 89. Will the Kingmaker Adventure Path and Kingmaker Companion make street date in October? That is currently the plan. Yes, I actually saw an update on this last week about what is happening with that. It looks like it's going to be a big old book. It's going to be a big one, and so we're going to be starting to work on that pretty soon. But we do want that to be the case. If we don't hit the street date, it's going to be very soon after. But that is the intent, is for that to be digitized in time for that. All right. This is the last question that I've got so far. So if there are any others, feel free to ask them. One more came in there, so we'll see how that goes. But otherwise, if we run out of questions, then I am going to hit the road and we're going to get back to work here. But if you've got questions, feel free to ask those now. So will you be cosplaying a dinosaur at Gen Con? No, I don't like to cosplay at conventions for the most part, because conventions are definitely the ones that I'm working at, because it's really, most of the time it's kind of miserable in the August heat at Gen Con especially, and putting extra layers of clothing on that would be required for cosplay would just be an absolute nightmare to me. And so, kudos to all the brave souls who actually cosplay at these events that happen in the dead of summer. You really do have my respect. And I don't know how you do it, but no, I will not be cosplaying anything. And if I cosplay, it probably wouldn't be a dinosaur, because when I cosplay, I'm a little too into accuracy, and I know that I wouldn't be able to pull off a dinosaur very accurately. So yeah, that unfortunately probably not going to happen with the dinosaur. All right, this is the last question for now. Unless I see another one come in, we'll close after this. But will the Crown of the Kobold King make street date? That is also the intent. So again, from here on out, the intent is for us to catch that street date. I am not in a place where I am fully confident to say that we will never miss a street date yet, because we're still catching up a whole lot of things. But I can tell you that by the time we catch everything up and all the moving parts are settled a little bit more, then our policy is going to be, we will never miss a street date. But I'm not, 100% confident enough to say that yet, but we are certainly getting close to that. So I will say that our intent is not to miss them, and so the idea would be this one should be available with street date as well. I don't know what that is off the top of my head, but that is our policy and what we're moving forward with. So we'll keep you posted on that as that becomes available. All right. I think that's it for the questions. Thanks so much for joining me this week. And I'm going to go get to work on packing and everything else that's needed for Gen Con. Again, if you see me there, please say hello. I'm going to be saying, I say hello generally to a lot of people as I'm just walking. So feel free to grab me if you see me. Would love to meet you. And again, thanks for being here. Thanks for the questions. And real quick, before I jump out here, we are not going to have a dev update next Tuesday. I've got some conflicts that have come up, so that's not going to happen next Tuesday. But I will be back the week after that with some more updates and here answering more questions. And then finally, tonight we do not have a new episode of the actual play with Children of Arete, but we do have On the Arete tonight. So our after show is going to be here, and you do not want to miss it, because it's going to be at 6 p.m. Pacific, and this time is going to be Hope Lavelle. Miss Robin is going to be on the Arete, and she is it's so hard for me to choose favorites, but I've got to say Miss Robin is someone that I, even as a player, want to see what happens with Miss Robin every single week. So join Sam and Hope tonight as they go through what is going on with Miss Robin on the Arete at 6 p.m. Pacific. Later, Gators.